That collaborative effort.
I was about, just about to. Oh, man, there's too much going on right now. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of We Pod or What. My name is Anthony Hadley Jr. I am the resident homebody and sometimes creative, and
I am Kevin Grant, the resident storyteller and professional BSer.
Creative, creative, entrepreneur, self-motivated.
Tracy, you showing some I thought you was done. I was like, you showing you some tattoo cleavage up there? Okay. Inked up.
Not
I
so
see.
good.
I see. He said the little look, I got a little ink.
oh, you got ink. All right, guys, so it's been a while since we last talked. How was everybody's whatever holiday you decided to or not celebrate recently, and then just how's everything been with the family and the pandemic and just everything else?
Man, it's been a lot of the same, and also just that's my dog. I don't know if y'all heard.
It's all right. It's all right.
A lot of the same, but also it's been weird, man. Like, because I'm sure y'all have gone out for essential things, essential shopping, and it kind of plays on my mind because some people you see like wearing masks, and for all intents and purposes it looks like we're dealing with a pandemic, but then on the other hand you see like people in places like trying to get in without them, and you would think like you having a mental breakdown to a certain extent. But so it's been kind of juggling that and doing that, but a lot of the same.
It's the beauty and the curse of America. It's the freedom of choice.
Right. Even at your own peril.
Yeah. I will say, like, I do understand that stance and not having, I mean, I wear my mask all the time. And like I said, but I know I don't really do it for me. I do it for everybody else, but I do wear it regardless. But I understand the people that, it's like you give an inch, you take a mile, and all the conspiracy theorists and all that. And the people that don't want their freedoms encroached upon. I get that mindset. I don't know if this is the time to choose that battle, but also who's to say when you pick and choose that battle. So I get it from both sides, but I just try to do my part for the greater good of society. But I definitely understand it. What about you, Tracy? What you been up to?
Oh man, just training, trying to get my fitness in order, health, went and got a physical. And,
Mm-hmm.
got checked out. I do my yearly physical for my birthday.
Oh,
Just
you got a
trying to
birthday coming up this week too, huh?
Yep.
Happy early birthday.
Appreciate it, fellas. But yeah, just like same things, trying to keep the mind sharp, trying to keep the body sharp, trying to plan as much as you can for the future. It's hard, but at the same time, you gotta start figuring out what these moves are gonna be and how they look, and just that's kind of what I've been on. Actually, I went to I think since I saw you, I went to Sacramento
Okay.
to my buddy's wedding.
How was that?
Then,
Like the traveling and just the interacting with people and the wedding.
I mean, it like you said, you just see people who, you got people who believe that it's a big deal, and you got some people who, they think it's a hoax. So, it was definitely humbling, I would say, if anything, like going to Sacramento because, I would say it's business as usual out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I went. You kind of look, they looking at you like you crazy when you got a mask. Like, what
Yeah,
you
like I'm
doing?
going to Nebraska tomorrow morning, and like I'm taking two, one for general, one for working out. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm prepared to wear it, like even going out to socialize. But like I also had to be prepared that people are gonna look at me like I'm crazy, But my point, and I don't mean to cut you off, but like I do think one of the disconnects are a lot of this has to do with how densely populated places are. Because if the places are less densely populated, it's probably not being affected the same. People can still have an outbreak wherever, but if you don't see those numbers because you're not just innately interacting with so many people, it may not be as big of a deal to you. And depending on the makeup of where you are, when people are hit by it, they may not suffer the same end results as other places. So I think, that is an aspect and element of it as well. But
Yep.
back to the wedding and everything else. So.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was good. I mean, my boy, one of my good friends, he jumped the broom, and that was. I mean, it was a cool. It was nice just to drive and get out the house, because I mean, really, you even thinking about doing something like I'm not really big on traveling right now, just because my health care is in California. I'm not with everything going on. I want everything to be where it's supposed to be. So,
So
but yeah,
Trey, they
go
I
ahead.
just say quick. So they're still having like a traditional wedding.
So this is what they did. So things are changing every week. Obviously, everybody knows. So what they did was they just said, okay, this is the original date they were gonna get married. So they just got married on that day. They plan on doing and they had a reception. They plan on doing like another ceremony at the end of the year, but because of how things are up and down, they're like, if we can't have that, at least we already married. So they trying to buy a house, do different things. So, it's kind of funny. I had one friend tell me, he wanted to get married on the day. I had another friend. They pushed their date back and they already trying to have a baby. Talking about we'll get married when we get married. So I guess each their own. So, but it is kind of interesting trying to get married in COVID because it's like,
Yeah.
even if you do, it's like even if they opened up everything tomorrow, like who's gonna come? I bet
Right.
you it's gonna be that split where people are like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. I'm not worried.
I'd
Then
be like,
there's
baby,
people.
if this ain't a sign, I can't tell you what is. We gotta wait.
5-year engagement. Uh, we went to, well, I guess not went to, but we witnessed a wedding. It was like on Facebook, like a virtual.
Mhm.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it was still kind of early on, so I think they had some people present, but it was kind of like right in the midst of that when everybody was overly cautious.
Mhm.
Not overly cautious, but everybody was, I guess, hypersensitive to what was going on.
Right.
Um, so it was like online, you see the people popping up, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Like for what it was cool.
Mhm.
Obviously, humans are social beings, so it's hard to like not have that personal in time or interaction. But for what it was, I thought it was cool. But yeah, I'd be like, forget the wedding. Just I either go Andy's route and extend engagement, or just be like, well, guess we gonna buy a house or save our money on all those plates that people eat and don't bring gifts.
I'd start rethinking everything. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this ain't meant to be. No,
It's probably honestly, I can see that being a trend, like smaller ceremonies in general. Though afterwards,
Yeah,
there's no reason why they shouldn't have been. I mean, I think I get the tradition and I get you want to be as inclusive, but when you think about the median income of everybody and how much people overextend themselves for weddings just because of tradition, like in that sense, it probably should have been smaller. And I think that may be one good thing that comes out of it.
oh yeah. But I mean, you look at our whole operation is human beings. It's economic base, so it's like anything that can be made and turned into business driven like that. Because I ideally think about like where all of the jobs and stuff come from, just the wedding industry, because you have like these big blowout weddings, you have like tuxes, you have venues, you have food, you have flowers, and so it's easy to get carried away with that. And again, hit me, the social media hater, but the more you get to see like these lavish like things, and it's not inherently bad, but the more you see, the more it's like, oh, I like that, I want that, you know what I mean, and then it comes
it's
out. So
only
I think this is bringing it kind of backward. Go ahead, Trey.
I say it's only bad if you can't afford it.
Well, to Anthony's point, like, okay, if the median income is this, everybody not readily available going. What is the probably average wedding was like probably 30K before I got married like 6 years ago. So yeah, it's very very well. It probably is about
Would you
50.
consider your wedding was it small or big or medium or?
it was it wasn't intimate, but it wasn't like 200 people. It was like maybe 100, 150.
Y'all still had a nice bill. Imagine 300, 400 people. Imagine doing everything y'all
I don't
did.
have to imagine because I wasn't inviting that many people.
That's real.
I was like, hey, look, because by the time it just all just compounds, and then like you don't really even get to enjoy your own wedding because by the time you sit down and you eat, everybody done had the food and all the drinks, so you just like
Yeah.
they say, man, that food was rolling. Kev, you had some? I was like,
They ran out of all the good food. They're like, hey, man, we don't know what to tell you.
you throwing everybody else a party. You look around like, damn, I ain't even get to taste none of that A2F, but it's cool. It's cool. Hindsight's 2020.
I've been to one big wedding. Friend, he was pretty well off financially. It was huge. I mean, open bar, all kind of food. It was hundreds of people, maybe like 500, 600 people. But
big ass.
I think they spend, I want to say, between 3 to 4.
Yeah. So I've been have I been to any like little intimate? If I have, I forgot, and that's not like indicative of it not being an important wedding. It's just, but pretty much all the weddings that I've gone to, been of a certain level. So like open bar, like we had open bar. That's the one thing I did get to enjoy was my own open bar. I definitely was throwing the back.
We don't have that. We don't even need food. We don't have it.
Man, that food we had like the little like pastry tables and stuff. They was tearing all that up. My brother was like, man, I went back for something else. It was gone. But yeah, to that level, but then afterwards you like, man, you could do a lot of stuff with all the money you put into that. But
Yeah, man.
We might see too is maybe more people getting married because they don't have to fit a big old bill.
I think if you can convince both parties, because sometimes it's the groom that won't get their shine on. Sometimes it was the bride. Sometimes it's a collective. And unless you got like disposable income to the fact that like if I'm rich, fine, okay, but everybody's level of what rich means is different.
Subjective, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, by the time it's just a big party, though. Like, I mean, I get the thing. If I told you how many times I looked at my wedding pictures since then, like the ones that's not on the wall, like we have them on the wall, but like, oh, you go back, you pay for like the videographers and these pictures, and maybe one day, maybe when the kids older, they be like, oh, let's look at y'all wedding. I'm gonna be like, oh, I never seen that picture. when we picked them out.
Yeah.
But I guess it puts in perspective a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Like what really is important. Because if you're getting married for each other, then I get the whole pay witness to it. But then at that point, just throw a big reception and then like get married and call it what it is, I guess.
Because once he gets that wedding title, that's the thing. Everything is probably at least $10,000 to $8,000 more. Like, because if you're gonna have just a party, I'm sure that same vendor ain't gonna charge you as much. I'm sure the same place you want to do the party is probably gonna be a little cheaper. It's just like everything else, capitalism. They hear wedding, they go, oh, okay, well.
They be like, oh, y'all been saving. Okay, give them that wedding tax. Like this would normally be $2,000, but instead let's make it 12. Like we're gonna throw in some chairs, a noodle plate.
Oh, you need the wedding package. You got to the wedding package.
Like, oh, okay, I'm going to a resort in Mexico. All right, $2,000. Like, to get married.
But it was, to be truthful with you, like my buddy set up, it was nice. Like, and he was like, you know what, this was perfect because what they did was it was like 4 or 5 of us, maybe 6, that went and listened to the vow. It was a place. They said I do. They did the ringing ceremony, and then we all went to his wife's mom's house. she had the table set up in the backyard, the food, and it.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't imagine they spent a bunch of money just because. I mean, I'm sure they spent money, but it wasn't like it would have been at a
Right.
venue with special caterers. So I was sitting there thinking like this, and it was fly. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it didn't look tacky. It didn't look like it was super
When
dope.
Tracy get married, he gonna get married right behind where he is right now. He's
But
saving all the
okay,
money.
so
That was the first
so
idea he had.
but look, Tracy, I'll be an advocate on your behalf if you do that. Like, you could dress that up so nicely, like from the trees, like you can hang like these lights, hanging lights.
He
You
gonna
could
put a
put like
pillow on
some
the back of his
flowers.
dog, have his dog bring the ring out.
You could build one of those nice little arches to like get married under. I'm telling you, like you could do it. It's just convincing people like that's the good way to go.
I can tell you one thing I'm gonna have is a food truck. There ain't gonna be no fancy food. It's gonna be a
Hey,
They got some fancy food trucks. When you get that bill, you gonna say,
no,
"Wait a
no
minute."
they gonna say wedding.
I said, "Oh," he said, "I thought you was having a cookout. You having a wedding? Oh,
I'm
wedding tax."
gonna tell them it's a get together. I ain't gonna disclose that. We have
They're gonna be like, "Oh, that's a nice wedding y'all putting on." Okay, tax. Like, oh, it's only 300 an hour. Oh, okay. Like, oh wait, you didn't say it was a wedding. They can come and getting seconds. This one asked for special dishes.
That's
Yep.
funny, man. But it's the truth. That's the truth.
Well, I feel like I probably dodged some unknown proverbial bullets over this weekend because y'all know somebody listening, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, y'all know I was on them apps, and it was the 4th of July, and this cabin fever was getting to me, and I was about to be out here, but everything happens for a reason. Everything, I take it as a sign. I got this big project coming up next week, so I decided to be responsible and self quarantine. But as much as we've talked about COVID-19 and all of this and staying safe, I'm gonna go. I feel like we're gonna see what happens in this next week or so, but I'm gonna go risk it a little bit. I think in a couple of weeks. We're gonna see how bad everything is. I'm gonna keep a mask on, but like I'm gonna be slightly less distant socially in a couple of weeks unless everything just goes all to hell.
Anthony better order that vitamin C, that 300
Oh,
milligrams.
I'm ordering it. Oh, boy, I got
Maxilo, vitamin C,
vitamin
Irish
D,
fruit.
I got magnesium, zinc, I got it all.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'm gonna come next to you with a shield and gloves. I need a ride to the airport, but you need
His
hazmat suit.
cabinet gonna look like Dr. Sabi's herbs. You gonna have Sabi's
Oh,
herbs,
bro.
blackseed oil.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, like I feel like I just need one good weekend, but like, and it's funny because I am the most introverted, especially of the three of us. But I'm like, I
That's
think I've
debatable.
been, no, shut up. It's not. It's not. But I mean, I've been introverted for the last 5 years I've been out here. And I was like, 2020, I'm about to be out here. So I was like, right when I was getting ready, I was like, nope, stay home. So
Yeezy
now
2020 vision.
I was like, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. But yeah, I'm starting to get that itch. But I did the responsible thing for 4th of July. I did not do anything, did not go anywhere. We're gonna see what
Caveat
the
though.
future holds. Go ahead.
Caveat. You going home, so like when you come back, I know that.
That was that long sigh. But go ahead. No, go ahead. What was the point?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was saying that the caveat was that. No, it's not here. Caveat is you're going home, so I would say like by the time you come back, then it'll be. Am I muted?
No.
No. I was like, since you're going home, you probably also have that in the back of your mind of like, okay, well, by the time I come back, I can do your due diligence.
No,
No problem.
He gonna come back and be back chilling at home. He gonna watch. Once he
Well, no,
fly.
the problem is I'm going home. That's the first problem. And luckily enough, I got to see my family, and then I got this project. I'm gonna be around a bunch of kids and all this stuff. So I'm like, I got to limit my exposure so I don't expose anybody else. Which, once again, I keep getting put in situations that require me to be responsible and not risk it too much. But man, like going home is gonna be the first test. Like, especially,
Wow.
But yeah, I see put the headphones on for sure. But like, yeah, so going home is gonna be the first test because not only
I can, but it's corn.
Oh, I'm not on mute. My bad. Continue.
because not only is it the difference in people's perspective and their response to the pandemic somewhere in the Midwest, but it's the middle of summer. It's like 100 degrees there. People are out. You know, it's my hometown. I ain't seen people in a while. The energy's gonna be a certain way. So I gotta fight that. I gotta fight the urge to be less responsible because nobody else is gonna be wearing masks.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
that's the
the
first
point.
battle.
That's what I was saying, but it probably didn't make sense. I don't know if it was feedback or something else, but I was
No,
like,
it wasn't feedback. It just didn't make sense.
That sound good. That sound good. We'll see when you get back.
No. I didn't say I'm not going to do it. I just said those are the battles I got.
oh, you're
I didn't say
definitely
I'm still
going
doing
to, but I'm just saying, like, since you're going home and you have like that responsible activity there, that's kind of like, all right, well, I could go do this the safe way, you know, do my due diligence, and then after that, then you're gonna probably lose your mind, and that's when I'll just be like,
it. And see, even the way that it's backloaded, like all the professional stuff is next week. So I get in tomorrow, and like Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday are the big days. So I'm like, I was like, this Saturday and Sunday could be real fun, but you know, I don't know. But if I do the responsible thing, guarantee you, unless numbers are really high out here, I'm going to do the irresponsible thing when I come back with the mask. But you know, outside of that, I'm socially less distant. I will say that.
We will see. I believe it when you come back. I think you're gonna come back and be like, you know what? I have enough fun at home.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, no, if I have enough fun at home, then I don't need to do nothing else. But I'm banking on not having that much fun at home. And I feel like I can't even have this conversation now. Just irresponsible with a kid. Even though she can't hear it, I just can't.
angelic voice, subby face, you be like, so what does he say? That's what she tried to hit. Talking about Reptar.
I guess if we got the bright star online, man. How is it? How do you keep them occupied? Because I've been hearing a lot on the news that's rough to keep them occupied.
Yeah, 3 months in, 4 months in almost.
Like this.
Oh man. Just let them run the
a
show.
lot of you know, like puzzles and coloring books, and
is any of your kids
that lasts like 5 minutes.
Are any of your kids school age? Like they were
like
going
preschool. They're going preschool.
So like they were going with like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah, 4.
Do you feel that difference?
Yeah, because so we did the virtual school, and but you still kind of got to be there. You know what I mean? And so with that you still got to be there. So you definitely feel it. And then now we like, okay, we give you a little break. So definitely feeling it.
And it's 2 of you. It's 2. It's 2 of each. It's
yeah.
Mama, Daddy, 2 little ones, and y'all still over there, and y'all both working from home.
Yep. So, and we got Bailey.
I commend you.
I know. You know, I still look young. Surprisingly, I thought I'd look about 60 now. But
you're gonna come about 10 extra grades come 2021.
I was over here I was over here thinking about like a business idea. I'm like, you know what? Everybody, I think if the more people stay home, I think babysitting's gonna come back in style. I think people gonna pay you to come to their house and watch their kid just so they can have a 4-5 hour break.
Yeah.
if you can prove you were safe, yeah.
You're right. Yep, you're right. And then you'd be like, "This is my COVID test. This is have fun." Especially now because it looks like we back at square one. It seems so. Like I don't know what school's gonna do in the fall.
Some schools talking about reopening.
Shit. Good luck.
It ain't gonna be the same. It's gonna be like probably an hour. You get an hour break.
But then, you think about it, and it's like, so you're gonna risk, because like high school kids, I think are as susceptible as like adults, right? So then you got the younger kids, I think, are still kind of in that they don't know type thing. But if you think about just, you know, all of them kids and that, they not gonna want to wear a mask. Like their whole remembrance of what school is gonna be different. And then you still got the idea of like teachers getting it, bringing it, parents giving it to their kids. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just it's a big I don't know. But you know, when they are older, kids will be like, man, remember all that time we spent together?
Yeah.
How annoying you was, Daddy. Like, can you get out the house, please? But
You went. So you got an extra 5 to 6 hours a day with your kids. Before you had a little
I
break,
got
right?
extra 24 hours. I got my kids. They don't believe in sleep. Like they think they gonna miss. It's like the world passing them by or something. It's always something. Look, she looking on here like,
I wonder who they got that from.
be like, I might miss something. I'm up. It's like it's 2 a.m. You need to go
They
back.
don't sleep, man. That's gonna be the hardest for me.
And that's another thing, right? Because like if you look online and stuff, I know it's kids who don't sleep, but it seems like I was having this conversation with my brother, my wife, somebody. All the days run together now. But, you know, like
Sounds like the people too.
so, right? It could have been us, so y'all be like, we talked about that. So, like you know, on the holidays and everybody, we're just past Father's Day, right? So, like everybody, growing up, I just was like, damn, nobody got a good daddy. But then, like, fast forward to now, and you look at the posts, and I'm like, damn, everybody had a good dad. Like, what happened to all those people I knew who
Right.
is coming back? Be like, nah, I had to see your dad. I've known you for 20 years, and I haven't seen your daddy once. And then it's like, oh man, some of the best dad in the world. Like and so I'm like, so how much of it is real? And so the point I make about that is like, you know, people show their kids like eating these fully balanced meals and sleep and stuff like that. And I don't know nothing about that because I'm like, man, look, she's stealing my French fries and eating bread, and I was terrible too, right? Like I just used to eat bread and stuff. But I say all that to say is like, I take all of it with a grain of salt, and my kids don't sleep, so that's why some days y'all see me hyperactive, and then some days y'all see me like I just wrote, yeah. But that's real though. That's real.
Yeah.
You might not get that if we don't have COVID. I feel like I want to put out the perception that you know it's all together, and I'm
Right.
like an Energizer bunny. By
So
no means.
the sleep thing, I got a question. So, what about the nap? Is it the nap schedule? Do you think the nap schedule is it?
Maybe for the other one. This one no nap. She stopped napping at Pop. When you stop napping? 1? Oh, where you gonna stop napping?
Never nap.
She stopped it
Team
like
no sleep.
he'll nap. He'll take a long nap, and then he'll just like get up and just be like, all right, I'm about to ruin every thought of sleep you had. He'd be yelling and smacking, and so.
See, I'll be the messed up dad. If he naps, I don't even know what amount of time is a normal nap, but let's say it's an hour, and he starts sleeping for 2 hours. 30 minutes in, I'm waking him up. He gonna be mad for the rest of the day, but you gonna sleep tonight.
And see, you would think that would work in theory.
Right.
And then you try it, and then you know you get a little angry, little terrorist like I got. So he be throwing, just tossing things. And it's fun. It's fun.
This is why I rather you than I, sir.
You know.
Man.
I mean, look.
It happened to the right man.
When they're adults, as long as they don't throw me in the home, or you know, just try and snatch off their inheritance, I'll know I do a good job.
That's fair.
Playing the long game here. Playing the long game.
I see it. That is an actual conversation I want to have. Just like the law, like I you know, and this literally, because we're going to get off in a second, but I remember always growing up, always wanting boys and never wanting to have girls, just because of all the issues that men think about raising daughters. But when you get to a certain age, like when you're old and your kids are adults, like
Mm-hmm.
it's since been brought to my attention that you probably want daughters because they're gonna look after you, take care of you. Because men, they're like, yeah, all
Yeah.
right, I'm living my life. So that is something to
Yeah.
think of. But it is something to think about.
Well, also what you realize too is like a lot of that is based off like just the some people say toxic masculinity, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just really the immaturity that we have younger
Mm-hmm.
because we get taught it, right? It's like, nah, because the boy, the boys can do whatever they want, come back, and it's fine. But then it's like, as you get older, you recognize, like, well, actually, like, you know, whose belief am I holding on to say, like, this way is better than this way, or like,
Absolutely.
it even means what it means, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I'm speaking vaguely, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, okay,
Right.
because
Right. Yeah.
it's like you got all these dudes and nobody wants their daughter to be blase blase. But then it's like, well, then if your son is, then what's really the real difference, right? Like,
Right.
um, and
And
what
most of
and
it,
what
it
does
still
that
comes
even
back.
mean?
It
Yeah,
comes back. A lot of it comes back to how you raise your kids. I mean, you can't be in charge of everything that influences them, but if you do as well of a job as you can, then more often than not, it should go in the right direction anyway. And some
exactly.
things, some people are just going to learn and have experiences. We had them. Our children will have them.
Yeah.
It's just how well I would imagine because you're the only one who can speak
But
for
okay,
having kids. But
yeah,
I would imagine it's like you only do as much as you can. They're
exactly.
going to learn. They're going to experience their own thing, but you just set them up for success, and the rest is
If
in their hands.
you only not doing something because you out of guilt, like, or you're a good person because you're scared of the consequence, are you really a good person? So like, what does it even really mean? You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So it's like,
absolutely.
well, if I just teach you, like, to be your own independent person, teach you the game, you know what's what, you know who's who, you know, live your life, enjoy it. Like, what else you gonna do? Sit in a room and we learning how COVID make you go crazy. So obviously that ain't the way.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it's going to be about time to sign off for today. Last words, anybody?
Uh,
You be safe. I'm worried about. I know Cam gonna be okay because he like down. You
Uh,
careful.
I want to say something real irresponsible right now, but I'm not going to say it. But I appreciate your care and your concern.
yeah, Anthony, you be safe, and
Thank you, gentlemen.
you gotta travel. Then yeah, no, you want to say something? Say something. Say cookies. Wave. Can you wave?
Nope.
You know you want wave.
All
Good.
right,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Well, we will figure out the next episode. We will be back soon.
All right.
All
And I
right, man.
appreciate all y'all.
Likewise. Adios. Say adios. Bye bye. Hasta mañana.